Ghosts caught on camera.
Oh, yeah. Every single story for today's episode comes with a ghost photo. Holy crap.
Ew, the creepy eyes.
Oh, my God. It's very creepy. Ew.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my God. I have chills.
Hold on to your butts.
This is Two Girls, One Ghost.
Two girls, one ghost. And we are your ghostesses. That is Corinne.
Hello.
I am Sabrina. And feast your eyes, everyone. And we mean that literally because this is a very visual episode and encounters of Two Girls, One Ghost.
We believe in ghosts here, and we know that a lot of you guys do. But obviously, there's a healthy dose of skepticism sometimes. And people are always looking for proof. So this is your episode.
What better than photos of the paranormal? Ghosts caught on camera.
Oh, yeah. Every single story for today's episode comes with a ghost photo.
It does. And I feel like it's only appropriate that we start with our own ghost photo.
Are we revisiting New Orleans?
We're revisiting the ghost peen.
Still the only time we've ever been in the press.
Yes. So way back when I was an innocent, naive little girl thinking marriage would be easy and great, I went on a bachelorette in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm. You asked me, hey, can you plan a ghost tour?
Yes. That was my one request.
One that I thought would be pretty PG because we had some scaredy pants in the group.
We did. And I had everyone dress up as vampires and adorned in black with vampire fangs. We took to the New Orleans streets and went on a ghost tour.
Little did we know, it was actually going to be rated R pretty quickly.
Because there was a ghost that could tell we were on a bachelorette, and what best to celebrate bachelorettes than with penises. Peni.
Yep. Peni. We went to John LaFitte's blacksmith shop bar in New Orleans.
Yep.
There is an old
fireplace
that's open on both sides. And when people go and visit there and they take pictures of this fireplace, oftentimes they will capture a face in the fireplace, and it's thought to be John LaFitte's face. So we obviously took a lot of photos.
Yes. So Corinne and our friend Scout were sitting in front of the fireplace, and I was snapping away, snap, 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 snap. And
all live photos. You had your phone set to live.
Yeah. So I always have my phone set to live because I think you're more likely to catch something on a live photo, right? Wrong. So it wasn't until the next day we're sitting on the couch in the morning, and I'm looking through the photos, and I have two photos taken at the exact same time. One of them is live, and it's Corinne and Scout sitting there, nothing in the fireplace. And the photo right after, for some reason, is not a live photo. But there, behind Scout's face, if you zoom in, and we'll put the photo in the video, zoom in right behind Scout's face, there is a very phallic-looking spectral penis.
Yes. An ectoplasmic wiener.
Yes.
Have you ever seen one?
We have, and now you have too.
Here's the thing. It was kind of a joke, but every time we show someone this photo, well, it wasn't. I mean, we were joking about it because we were like, is this a penis?
Yeah.
But every time we show someone the photo and tell the story, everyone's like, oh my God, it does kind of look like a dick.
That's most certainly a penis.
It's a penis.
Yeah. So ghosts are real because we've caught
and sometimes
a penis
they
on
flash
camera.
you on your bachelorette.
And then when we were on tour, we stopped by LaFitte's blacksmith shop because we were like, I wonder if we can catch it again. And instead, someone had gone and taken a photo booth series of photographies.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Photos of their own junk. It was a very veiny penis. It was disgusting. Sorry if you have a veiny penis. It looked like it was on steroids. And they printed out the photo.
Yeah, there was a photo booth, like photo strip, put next to the fireplace of someone's dick. And we were like,
that's not what we were here for.
Yeah, it's not the type of penis that we had captured last time.
No.
I much prefer the spectral type.
Me too. It does make me think, though, that now it's become part of like ghost tours.
Do you think?
I mean, why else
Did we email them?
I don't remember. I mean, it
know.
definitely hit the web because it was on The Sun. It was a tabloid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to message TMZ, let them know that we saw a penis on the go.
On the go.
Live from the veil, from the other side, Jean LaFitte's Wiener.
Wee wee.
Wee wee.
But yeah, so we are very appropriately named Two Girls, One Ghost.
Yeah.
And the ghosts want to show us their wee wees.
I know. The only time we captured, we've captured some other things since.
Yes. And we've had a lot of paranormal experiences.
Yes.
But this is one of maybe my most proud experiences.
Yeah.
Anyway, we thought, let's gather all encounters, not of ghost penises, but
that was the only penis in this episode.
Sorry to disappoint.
How many times have we said penis?
Penis. Take a shot every time we say penis.
We need like a wiener count.
A wiener count. 1 wiener, 2 wiener. And there's like a little like wiener graphic that pops up with it.
From Sesame Street. 3 wiener.
He just pops up on screen. His fingers are wieners. Oh, why are wieners so funny?
I don't know. It's the word.
We're little girls. Okay, do you want to go first?
This is from Zach. Hi, my name is Zach, and I'm a paranormal investigator from North Carolina. I recently watched the Appalachian Encounters episode, and Sabrina had mentioned sending in photos of a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
I have a few, so I thought I'd send my top 3. They're pretty dark, so I did a side-by-side with the original pic, and then on the other side, I increased the exposure. The first 2 are from an old plantation home in North Carolina known as the Montgomery House. One appears to be of the original owner, and the second, I'm not really sure who it's of. It appears to be standing and looking over at the table with glowing eyes. The last one is from the basement bowling alley at St. Alban's Sanatorium in Radford, Virginia. It was just me and one other person standing next to me. We believe this is the spirit people have named Red. I also have a great EVP that was taken minutes before the picture. I can also email that to you if you'd like.
Yes.
Love your podcast, by the way. Zach. Okay. So the first one is from the Montgomery House, thought to be the original owner.
Oh my gosh. Is it the back of him? Like you can see his hairline.
And it also looks like he's holding something. Like he's walking towards, I don't know if that's like a china cabinet or if those are like French doors leading out somewhere, but it kind of looks like he's holding something and moving.
It does.
This is indisputable. That is a ghost caught on camera.
I can't believe we got 3 in 1.
I know.
Okay, what's the second one?
Also Montgomery House. Oh, so it is a china cabinet because you can see it in the second photo. They're not really sure.
Oh, it looks like someone bending down by the chair. Is that where I'm looking?
I actually don't know.
See behind the candle right here?
Oh, yeah.
It kind of looks like a person.
Oh, yes, you're right. Okay, yes, this is very creepy because they said that they don't know what or who it is, but it looks like they have glowing eyes. And it does look like kind of glowing white eyes peering up over it. And it has like long black kind of stringy hair.
Ooh.
Weird. Okay, that's very creepy if that's just someone like crouching and hiding below the table.
Which this reminds me of Scout, Ghost Penis Girl. 1 penis.
1 penis.
2 wiener. Her mom went to what's the house in San Diego? The Whaley House in San Diego and got so many photos.
Oh, really?
And one of them is under the table and it looks like a ghost dog.
Oh, yes. You talked about this.
Yeah.
Did we look at the photo?
I think we looked at the photos on the podcast. I'll try to find them and add them into the video here, but they're so clear.
Yeah, because I remember seeing them.
Yeah. And
so it was either you showed me Scouts or we had another listener who
they were Scouts. It was Scout's mom took the photos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
And this bowling alley one?
Okay. Or the St. Albans Sanitarium in the basement bowling alley. The spirit of Red.
It's creepy.
Right at the end of the bowling alley. It's really creepy too because it's like the person's standing there, but it almost looks like they're standing further than the distance that they're actually at. It kind of reminds me of like a religious statue. Like I feel like that looks like— I was just going to
say it looks like a nun, like shrouded.
Yeah,
in
I was going to say like Mary or whatever, like
veil.
when they have the nativity sets out during Christmas.
Oh,
dang.
I mean, anything shadow figure-esque is very creepy because it's darker than dark.
Right. What a successful paranormal investigator Zach is.
Wow.
He captures so much.
I want to catch more ghost photos.
Me too. Things like this.
Yeah. So cool.
Thanks, Zach.
Thanks, Zach. What do you guys think of the photos?
Let us know.
Okay.
And I'm so curious if anyone else is going to listen to this and be like, oh my God, I also investigated there and I have photos. And then we can do a comparison if anyone else does, where it's like,
what if they look
the same
similar?
Person?
Yeah.
It reminds me of when we did our live show. We just did 2 live shows, I think. Portland, Maine, and Boston.
Portland, Maine, and New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Yeah.
We clipped together EVPs that people had found from our podcast. And while we were going through them, unintentionally discovered that years apart, there are recordings of the same voice talking in our podcast.
Like a man. It's Sven.
It's a man. Yeah.
That's why
it's a man who sounds like he's in his 20s or 30s.
Right. And if you're new here, we joke that, and a listener actually named our ghost, but our podcast has been known to haunt people. And some are positive, some are negative, but our ghost has lovingly been called Sven.
Yes.
And so it sounded like a man in multiple episodes. So we're like, is it Sven? We don't know.
I think it is.
I have a ghost photo and email from our listener, Sam, and it's called Ghost Picture. Hello, my name is Samantha, but everyone calls me Sam. Yes, please say my name, say my name.
No one is around.
And you're welcome to post a picture if you'd like. I was around 12 years old and I was very intrigued by the paranormal. My two good friends and I would have sleepovers at my house on the weekends, and our ritual was to watch scary movies as the sun went down and play with the Ouija board to really give ourselves a good scare.
Amazing.
Yes, this was beyond creepy. And we had some good responses, but I just had to take it further. My aunt is kind of witchy and offered to take us on a ghost hunt. So cool. It was my first ever ghost hunt and I was so excited. We lived in a small town called Sunset, Texas, and she knew of an old cemetery in the area. So she took me and my friends there to ghost hunt. And I had just gotten my first ever digital camera for Christmas. It was hot pink and I got one of those memory cards so I could take lots of pictures. This is my favorite because this is an old digital camera and she has the photo.
Which is also incredible because I feel like so many people who have experiences like this, when they go back to find the photos, they're deleted
gone
from whatever it was saved on.
Right.
And they're just gone forever.
So we went out fully ready to see and experience some crazy shit, but nothing happened. I did take tons of pictures on my camera throughout the night, and I didn't really look at them. And the night came to an end and we headed back to the car. As I was about to get in, I turned and looked and took one last photo of the cemetery. On the way home, I scanned through at least hundreds of photos until I came upon the very last photo. And there it was. There he was. A full body apparition of what looks to me to be a man sitting on a bench in the cemetery. I just about shit my pants. I didn't understand what a big deal it really was until I got older, but this moment in my life is what made me a full-blown addict to the paranormal. Over the years, I've showed this photo to so many people and I've gotten the, that's not real, or whatever. But I know you girls will appreciate it. Hope it spooks you like it does to me this day. I'm 30 now and never gotten a photo like this ever since. Not for the lack of trying, I can promise you that. Shout out to my amazing husband, Jace, that fully supports my spooky adventures and is believing more and more with each haunted location. I'll send some more spooky tales ASAP. But here is the photo. See you on the other side, Sam. You can
oh my God.
He has ears.
You can see the back of his ears. You can see the shape
legs.
of his neck.
You can see everything.
Like he's leaning down. It's like he's looking down, like reading a newspaper or looking at his phone or something.
And keep in mind, this is the last photo Sam took right before getting in the car. It was like, one more photo. It's almost like the ghost thought he'd gotten away with it and then didn't realize she was taking that last photo.
That is
wild?
So wild.
The
makes me so curious, like
looks,
who this person is, right?
Right. The bench almost looks translucent too. Almost.
It's like he's casting a glow.
Right.
Over where he is.
Yeah.
Which I understand that people like bump up the exposure too so that you can like more clearly see this stuff. But that is without a doubt a human.
No question about it.
Not a living human. Not of this plane right now. But
I love that Sam still has this photo.
Yeah, that is so cool.
Yeah.
Holy crap. That is crazy. Like there's so much definition and it makes me so curious. Like had the photo been taken of the front of him, if you would be able to see the defined features of his face, because you can see his ears, you can see his haircut.
Yeah. It almost looks like he's wearing jeans and has like black shoes on too.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Oh my gosh.
I know.
What a good photo.
Isn't that wild?
Dang, Sam.
Also, thank you so much to all of you because you heard my call to action and you all delivered.
We have so many. This is not going to be the last episode like this. We've got a lot of photos now.
Keep sending them.
Okay. This is a very quick story. It's basically like 2 sentences, but the photo is quite creepy.
Great.
Hey, I'm listening to the new episode from the Appalachian Mountains and I heard the call to action for photos. I haven't listened.
But can I ask real quick, how are we supposed to say it? Appalachian or Appalachian?
Well, I go interchangeable because
I know
in the North, people say Appalachia.
Right.
But then in the South, they say Appalachia. I looked into the history of it, and a lot of people think that you're supposed to say Appalachia because it comes from a word from a native tribe that lived down in the South. There were also arguments that like the pronunciation that was taken from the native tribe was also incorrect. So it's like, I think you're supposed to say Appalachia, but not with complete certainty that that's actually
Should we do a poll?
What it should be.
Because I feel like we got yelled at so many times.
That's why I swap.
Just changed it out.
I change it up.
Appalachia. I
haven't changed the lighting on this or anything. It was taken on my phone a couple years back at St. Alban's Sanatorium in Radford, Virginia. So the exact same place that Zach had captured.
Oh, it's
in the bowling alley. Yep. I was on a ghost tour and I did not see anyone at the end of the hall when this picture was taken. I see at least 2 beings, and I had a friend say that they saw 3. I can give more info if you guys are interested. So this is one of those things where it's like, could this be red?
Ew, the creepy eyes.
It's like a shadow figure. But like, is it a shadow figure? It kind of looks almost like 2 people standing next to each other. Or potentially 3. I almost see 3 too, because it seems like 3 blobs of heads, like almost like they're lined up, like boom, boom, boom.
There almost looks like there's one below. It's like a ghost shadow family. There's only one that I see with eyes.
Yeah, the 2 glowing white eyes.
Yeah.
I do see the little white face below too.
It's hard to tell.
It is hard to tell. But it's clear that there's something at the end of this hall.
Ooh.
But it's creepy because it's like they're like looking, they're watching.
Wow. It's so creepy.
And it makes me think same place. So we have 2 photos from the same place.
The creeper at Waverly Hills Asylum.
Yeah.
Like always watching, just big, dark mass, shadowy figure.
The creeper there, it seems so active. Like here, it's like they're just watching and hanging. But the creeper, from what we've heard of Waverly Hills, it's like crawling. It's moving. Everything else is running from it.
Including
warning
us.
You to run as well.
This is the only reason we've never gone to the Waverly Hills Asylum, because we're scared of the creeper. The only reason.
We should revisit that topic and do more, because we've covered bits and pieces of Waverly Hills throughout different episodes, but we should do like one giant Waverly frickin' Hills.
Waverly frickin' Hills. When you add the fricking, it means you got it all. Oh, there's so many ghost stories I want to cover. I feel like we could truly be doing this for eternity.
I know. We could. Maybe we will. Who knows?
We'll be doing it into the afterlife. Okay. I have one from our listener, Eric, who, if you are a Patreon member, you know Eric, because Eric has so many ghost stories and he's often on Campfire Stories.
Calling in from haunted locations.
Exactly.
Like, I feel like half the time he's in a cemetery or he's pulling up somewhere to go do an investigation.
And Eric sent us a ghost photo, also called Ghost Photo is the subject line. Hi, ladies. Here is the best ghost photo I've ever captured. One night I was out walking my dog, R.I.P. Shadow, and we were behind my house and Shadow was doing his business. I got this strange feeling that I was being watched. So I took out my phone and I snapped a few pictures. In one of the pictures, it looks like a woman is standing in my backyard. But then I realized this woman is familiar. It's my grandmother. She is dressed in old clothing, and I had seen her wear this dress with an apron and bonnet before because she went to the Southern Baptist church that would have Old Timers Day where everyone dressed like they were in Little House on the Prairie. I also will send a photo of her alive wearing that same dress. She has come to visit me a couple of times, but always makes sure that I know she's around when she does. So Eric's feeling of someone watching him.
So freaking cool. I love that it's someone related to him. Like, I love that it's his grandmother, right? Like,
yes.
The setting could be so creepy. It could just be anyone. And then you're like, well, who is this ghost that I captured on film? But then to be like, oh my God, it's my grandma.
And look at the photo. It's so clear.
Oh my God.
She's like turned to the side, but wearing
You know what's crazy is it almost feels like her body's see-through and it's just her outfit walking.
Right. It does kind of look like that.
Right? Like, where's the neck and face? It's just the outfit.
You can see your bosom.
Oh, yeah, because the outfit is clearly her outfit, too.
I know.
This is a very distinct outfit. It's not just like, oh, yeah, they used to wear a navy sweatshirt and jeans.
Well, also, it's specifically from a day that she dressed up, which I love that she loves this outfit so much and only wore it a couple of times maybe in her life. But she was like, I'm going to wear it for the rest of eternity.
Well, and also I feel like that's a good way to let your relative know that it's you, right? Like, if you have a very specific...
I love her. She looks precious.
Which is kind of incredible that maybe this is motivation for people for Halloween costumes and dressing up and stuff. If you have the option to go through every outfit that you've ever worn in your life and just choose what you want as a ghost.
Yeah.
So long as you've worn it. Imagine the possibilities.
You just have to wear it once in your life.
You could be Voldemort. I could be Bigfoot. I could be old Greg.
That would be an amazing, terrifying ghost to see.
That's a new goal. Wow.
So
Eric's
cool.
got a lot of stuff too. I feel like we've seen some stuff from him before, but this one's very incredible.
It is. Again, if you want to take a look at these photos, check them out on YouTube because they are pretty shocking in a cool way, in the best way.
Okay. We talked about Waverly Hills. I have a story. Trip to Waverly Hills Sanatorium and the full body apparition.
Damn. Okay.
Hello to my favorite ghostesses.
Hey.
My name is Sadie, and I'm a huge fan. I discovered your podcast a couple months ago, and I've been listening ever since. I'm a Door Dasher, so I pretty much am listening all day, and you've made my workday so much more entertaining. It just flies by now. Since I was young, I've had so many experiences in my life, so this made it really hard for me to choose which event to write about. But since this one comes with photo evidence, I figured this should be the one.
I love it.
So let's dive in.
And you can send more than one, too.
A little backstory about me. I'm from Kentucky, and I was raised by my loving parents in a Christian home, and they were very cautious about what they exposed me to. So, of course, from a young age, I was instantly drawn to all things Halloween, spooky, scary, witchy, and paranormal. And obviously, my parents did not share my enthusiasm. LOL. Just so you know, my mom is just such a sweet, caring person. She's always been my rock and my best friend. And she's also the total opposite of me. I'm very outspoken and outgoing, and she's the type of person that hates to have attention on her. She'd rather observe life in the background. And she, of course, is a skeptic when it comes to the ghosts and things of that nature. Okay, so let's go back to 2009 when my mom called me one day and asked if I'd ever heard of a place called Waverly. I replied, "You mean Waverly Hills in Louisville?" "Yes." "Why?" For those who don't know, Waverly Hills Sanatorium was a hospital opened in the early 1900s in Louisville, Kentucky, to treat the outbreak of tuberculosis, also known as the White Plague. It's believed that around 50,000 people died there during its operation until 1961. My mom then proceeded to tell me that she went on a tour there with my aunt and my mom's cousin a few months prior. I was absolutely shocked.
I was shocked.
Yes, right? Also a few months prior. Like, how long has she been sitting on this information?
Right.
I was absolutely shocked. Not only had my mom, of all people, gone on a paranormal tour to one of the top haunted places in the country.
I love the way you said it.
Went
top haunted places.
Top haunted places. But she went without me.
Yeah, rude.
And is just now telling me? She swore she had told me about going, but I know I would have remembered.
Yeah.
Classic. So, of course, I started drilling her with a million questions. Well, what happened? What did you feel? Did you see anything? Did you get any pictures? Tell me everything. And she started to tell me all about her experience, but in a way that she still seemed pretty skeptical about what had happened.
Oh my gosh.
For example, she said that my aunt's batteries in her camera went completely dead shortly after arriving, and that other people in the tour told them that this usually happens around spirits, but she just thought that there was another reasonable explanation.
She doesn't know what it is, but she thought there was.
There has to be something else.
Yeah.
This, of course, was a huge deal to me. I was squealing in excitement. And she then moves on to her experiences on the 5th floor in room 502. And for those who don't know the story behind room 502, trigger warning, this does involve someone taking their life.
Is this Mary? Nurse Mary?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which there's a good photo that a photographer took of Mary in the basement of Waverly Hills that we can put right here.
I think episode 4, we did Ghost Caught on Camera. And
you covered some of the stuff from that photographer, and he has an amazing one of all these shadow figures in the tree line. We'll also put right here.
Yeah. So creepy.
It's believed that a nurse who was pregnant had contracted tuberculosis and was so devastated after watching so many patients suffer from the illness and die horrible deaths that she just could not face the suffering, and she hung herself near the nurse's station in room 502.
That story is also, because that story I feel like has been modified or told differently.
Yeah.
So for people who are listening, there's also a version of the story where, content warning, a doctor impregnated her and then pushed her out the window.
Yeah. While the tour gathered around the doorway to room 502 to take photos and to listen to the story, my mom stood back by the elevator on the other side of the hallway. She said all of a sudden she started to feel very sick. She was nauseous and weak, and of course she didn't say anything as to not draw attention to herself, but she just tried to focus on not passing out. During this time, the tour guide pointed right above my mom's head, telling the group that that is where the nurse took her life.
Oh, geez.
A little freaked out, and understandably so. She said she was more relieved when the group was allowed to take a few minutes to walk around freely and go about the 5th floor terrace. So my mom went outside to get some fresh air, and she instantly felt better. She told my aunt and her cousin what had happened, but that she was feeling better, and she must have just needed some fresh air.
Yep, that's what.
I obviously had a different explanation for her. I said, Mom, you know that's one of the big experiences that people have there. Apparently, people who are very sensitive or even pregnant tend to get sick at room 502. And I told her that this was not just her not feeling well. She then mentioned, well, isn't it funny you say that? Because when we started heading back down to the 4th floor, we had to go back past room 502, and I started to feel sick again.
Mom.
And I didn't feel better until we descended down the stairs. And I said, you totally experienced the paranormal. She laughed it off and said, just wait until I tell you what happened when we first got there. I am also shocked, Sadie, at your mom.
I feel like Sadie's mom is my mom, and I'm like disappointed.
I'm mad at her.
Yeah, me too.
She tells me one of the first stops on the tour was to the morgue. This room has 2 separate doors in and out of the room. So while everyone's filling in the room to get as close to the cold lockers as they can, she hangs back by one of the doors in the back of the crowd, once again to not be in the way. Then, as the tour guide is talking, my mom notices a man walking past the doorway. Thinking he's part of the group, just catching up and about to enter the other door, she then notices that this man is pretty tall, really tall, like 7 to 8 feet.
Shit.
And he's wearing what looks to be a lab coat. She honestly doesn't know what she's saying, but she knows that she saw him. She tells no one. She keeps it to herself, partly to not draw attention to herself, and partly because she doesn't want people to think that she's crazy or making this up. She kept looking throughout the tour to see if she saw him again, thinking he may work for Waverly Hills.
Yeah, that 7 to 8 foot tall man who works for Waverly Hills.
Giant man in a lab coat walking around. But she never did see him again. I am in shock. Mom, did you see a full body apparition ghost? She laughs nervously and says, well, if that's what you call it. See, I was at home and a show came on about Waverly and I thought I would watch it since I visited. And well, they started talking about ghosts and people's experiences, and multiple people talk about seeing this doctor roaming the halls. And when they described him, I realized, oh, that's who I saw. I saw the doctor. I believe maybe I really did see a ghost. I am now absolutely speechless. This is my mom we're talking about, the lady who changes the subject anytime I mention anything spooky or paranormal. The woman who has preached the dangers of messing with the unknown and to seek out Jesus and not darkness. This woman is now telling me she saw a ghost?
And is so nonchalant about it.
Yeah. Okay. I am now officially freaked out, but this makes sense. And it just makes me want to go even more. I want to go. Let's go. Go with me. I told her. And she said, oh, no, I'm not going back there. So the following year, I somehow managed to talk my mom into going back to Waverly Hills with me.
This is the best.
They write, my spooky little heart was so excited.
Mine too. I'm like invested. I'm so invested in this story.
I know I'm reading it, but I feel Sadie telling us this story.
Same.
I went out and I got a candy apple red Nikon Coolpix camera and extra batteries, of course.
Duh.
I was ready to start my own paranormal investigation. Throughout the tour, I took tons of photos in hopes of catching something, anything really. But unfortunately, to my disappointment, not too much happened during my visit. I guess I just wanted it too bad.
Thirsty.
We did have a couple small things happen. At one point, me and my mom both tripped over something. It was almost soft and squishy, like maybe some fallen insulation or a blanket or something of that nature.
Oh, why would I think like a gushy, like fleshy hand?
Or like an organ.
Yeah.
Being harvested.
Heart beating.
But when we looked down, there was nothing there. And at the same time, my mom made a tiny yelp and said that she felt a hand pressed down on the top of her head. So that was pretty creepy.
I feel like mom is a total believer by now.
Yeah, what the heck? Everything's happening to the mom.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the lesson of like, don't try too hard. Don't want it too bad.
Yeah, I'm still learning that.
The aliens will get you one day.
Yeah.
Then later, they asked for 2 volunteers to walk down the hall and turn around and stand in place facing the group. I really wanted to volunteer, but let's be honest, as much as I love all things spooky, I'm also a chicken. Well, I'm glad that I didn't because we all watched shadow people walk back and forth between the volunteers.
I've heard this about Waverly Hills, like in that one hallway, someone goes and stands and there's tons of shadows that walk past.
Walk back and forth. Would we volunteer?
I would absolutely.
Because we don't have to go alone and we could go together, I would volunteer with you too.
Right. And also people are just right there.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to be pulled into the walls. I mean, maybe, but I'd be down for that.
Yeah. Well, how far away are you? Are you like 15 feet down the hallway?
I'm a fast runner.
Maybe I won't volunteer with you because you'll outrun me. I'll be left. You'll be back to the group and I'll be like 3 feet like forward. The whole group was gasping and freaking out about it. So had that been me down there, I would have absolutely been shaking in my boots. Probably would have peed my pants. Nothing else really happened, but it was still a really wonderful tour and I had a really great time. Learning about all the history of the hospital and all the encounters was very interesting. In the photos I took, I did happen to capture some blue mist. In another photo I caught may or may not have this face type thing looking smoke. I showed them to people and told the story. And of course, I uploaded them to Facebook. But then I started to forget about them until ... Now, let's jump ahead. 13 years ahead, to be exact.
Ooh, spooky 13.
Spooky 13. This is the year 2023. My husband and I were laying in bed, winding down for the night, watching Ghost Hunters like we did most nights. And I can't tell you why, but for some strange reason, I found the show calming. Yeah, I guess a little crazy. Anyway.
You're one of us. It's fine.
Yeah. Anyway, this particular night's episode was an investigation of, you guessed it, Waverly Hills Sanatorium. So during and after the episode, my husband and I are discussing mine and my mom's experience when I suddenly realized I have the photos on Facebook. So I excitedly pulled them up to show my husband what I captured, and I show him the blue mist photo, and then he responds, that's pretty cool. And then I pull up the other photo with what I think is this mist typeface thing, and I'm trying to explain what I see to my husband, and then in a very clear, matter-of-fact tone, he says, I don't know what you're seeing, but that is a full-body apparition. Confused and startled, I yelled, what? Where? What are you talking about? And my husband then starts to point at the top left corner of the photo by the window, trying to describe the face, the shoulders, the arms, the hands of a ghost. Where? I don't see it. We do this back and forth for a few moments, and all of a sudden, there he is, clear as day, a full-body apparition. I start losing my shit. 13 years I've been looking at this photo. 13 years, and I have never seen him. I could feel the hair on my neck standing up and tears starting to fill my eyes while my heart raced. I couldn't believe it. I immediately called my mom. I asked her if she remembered our trip and what she had experienced there, and she, of course, did. And so I sent her the photo and explained what we saw in the photo, and she kept saying, yeah, okay, I think I see it. Mom is too chill. Obviously, she wasn't seeing what we were saying, and this went on for a few minutes, and then all of a sudden, I heard a panicked gasp. Oh my God, that's him. That's the man I saw. That's the doctor. I was absolutely shocked. I don't know what I expected her to say, but it definitely was not that. I have attached the photo of the blue mist and, of course, the photo of the doctor. And if you don't see him right away like me and my mom, you can see his face is at the top left corner of the window. It almost looks like he's wearing glasses. He's a long, dark body and long arms and hands. I have so many more crazy stories to share. Some involve a box of doom and ghost children that haunt my brother, messages from loved ones who have passed on, even a possible family curse. You do have permission to share my photos if you'd like. Keep up all that you do. Stay spooky. See you on the other side. Sadie.
Okay.
First photo.
Let's see.
Is the blue mist.
Okay.
It's kind of like, she says blue mist, but I would almost say it almost looks like there was an orb or like a person caught in motion.
Well, there's like multiple things going on because it
on
looks
the right
like
side.
On the left side, there's light that almost feels like it's moving. And then on the right side, it looks like a misty white.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. And now we got to try really hard to see the doctor.
We're supposed to be looking by the window.
I think I see his eyes.
Where?
Are these not his eyes? Right here? But then his face would be really long.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is this one of those ones where we have to stare at it long enough that it eventually...
I can't tell. Maybe.
Or wait, is this his face? Does he have a mustache? Sadie, we're going to have to do exactly what you and your mom did that your husband just naturally was able to see.
I feel like I'm experiencing pareidolia where I'm trying to see
it.
I'm seeing faces where perhaps there isn't any, but maybe if we zoom and enhance.
Yeah.
I feel like every crime TV show does that, and that's not how it works.
We need Sadie to like point with a marker, like here are the eyes, here's the shoulders, here's the long arms.
You online can see it easily.
I'm sure some people are going to be able to see it right away.
Right.
Oh, so cool though.
So
incredible experiences, especially on your mom's part. What the heck?
And clearly you picked a good one in terms of a man because he can spot ghosts from photos that are 13 years old in instant.
Apparently everyone around Sadie has the talent of experiencing the paranormal.
So cool.
Dang.
Oh my gosh.
Very cool.
All right. Well, we're going to go overseas for this next ghost photo.
Okay. Amazing.
This is from our listener, Chris, and it is called Ghost/Demon and Fairy Photos. Ooh. First, let me say your podcast is fascinating and you two are inspiring. I took the first photograph in May 2022 during a ghost tour of Edinburgh's underground vaults that were built in the 1700s.
So cool.
This particular room was used by a witch who supposedly battled a demon and magically confined the demon within the confines of the stone circle that is in the photograph. Legend goes that anyone who enters the stone circle will be cursed. The guide told us that some skeptical visitors have tested this by entering the circle and then reporting back that they had many adverse events soon happen thereafter, primarily physical illness and accidents.
Oh, wow.
In the live version of the photograph, it initially looks like an insect flying at my camera, but then a light appears in the middle of the stone circle. The underground tour also included many other of the vaults and corridors, including one vault that was a decorated ritual space where the witches' coven practiced. Chris also sent the movie of the live.
It is so strange because in the video you can see, I think, too, the possibility of what dust could look like here.
Yeah.
And the streak of light is just so much larger and brighter.
And exactly in the middle of the circle.
Right.
So even if it isn't a ghost photo, it's awesome because
something's happening.
Something is happening. And I've never heard of this legend, but
Me
how
neither.
sick a witch freaking condemned a demon into a circle, cast it into its circle.
And it's moving at the speed of light trying to get out of this
thing.
Zooming
back and forth. Yeah.
Which is so cool. The idea that you can contain something and trap something in a space that is still open. The circle is closed, but it's not like there's any cover on it. It's not like a genie in a lamp.
In a bottle, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the second photo isn't attached. Chris, where are the fairies?
Need to see the fairies.
Need to see the fairies. I believe that they're coming to visit you. If you leave them offerings, I bet they are visiting.
Okay. I picked one other one.
Okay. Like we said, we have many.
We have so many. We're going to do this so many times.
Yeah.
I also feel like we could totally do a regular episode too where we revisit some of the huge ghost photos that have been captured that are attached to various stories that are just out there in the world, not necessarily our listeners.
Yeah.
Because there's some really good ones. And I feel like, again, we've covered them when we cover specific places, but we don't have them all compiled into one spot.
Yep.
This is from Kels. So let me just set the scene with background information for the story.
Okay.
I used to go camping in Maine every 4th of July in a little town called Mount Vernon. This photo was taken back in 2007 to 2009-ish. There was a bunch of us this one summer with all the cousins joining us camping. We were all sat around the fireplace telling spooky ghost stories, and we were young, so everything scared me at that point.
Yeah.
And we decided to go for a drive with my friend's dad, my brothers, and my cousins to some cemeteries. It's a quaint little town, a place with not much in between. It's a very old place, so there are these little cemeteries just scattered around. So we decided to hop around and see what we could get on camera. We went to 3 cemeteries, 2 of which we got out and we walked around because they were quite large. And the third, where the photo is taken, no one got out because it was so small and it was also fenced in. So my friend's dad, the driver, decided that he would get out and he would take 3 photos, kind of like a panoramic view of photos. And so he did that and then we headed back to camp. Okay, so this was a really quick, we just hop out, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Keep going. We sat by the fireplace going over some of the photos, and a lot of the first 2 places were just a ton of orbs everywhere.
Whoa.
And then when we got to the last 3 photos from this very tiny cemetery, we got a really off feeling about them. We scanned through them thoroughly, and when we got to the last photo, we saw a little girl in a dress pointing to a tall tombstone. We all got shivers. We all passed around the camera to see if, yes, this was the same thing that we were all seeing. There were 10 of us all looking at this photo, and eventually, we all agree. We should go back. We should check it out.
Yeah.
So we drove back. We're trying to guess the name of the little girl, not thinking anything of it. We're spewing names out. We're joking around, and I said the name could be something like Anne or Annie, and my friend said Elizabeth, and one said Mary, and one said Susan, and one said Emily. So we get there, and the only person that got out was my friend's cousin, 16-year-old male.
How could you not all get out?
Because it's scary.
It is scary, scared. But I'd be like, ah.
Also, I'm shocked just one person got out. I feel like buddy system.
Yeah, absolutely.
He gets out with a flashlight to go and read the names on the tombstone. Now, mind you, we have never, ever been to the cemetery before in our lives. Not one of us. He read off the names of the tombstone. There were 3 daughters. Emily, 21 years old. Mary, 3 years old. An unknown infant name.
Oh.
Mother and father's name. Anne and Abner. Did you read that right? Yeah, we literally guessed almost every single name correctly. And when he read off those names, we drove back to camp so fast.
Oh my gosh.
We were all so creeped out. We mingled on for a little bit by the campfire and continued our vacation. And when we finally got back together a year or 2 later, my cousins lived in Massachusetts and we lived in Connecticut. And I asked if they still had the photo and if I could take a picture of it because I wanted to reference it every time I told this story. So yes, this photo I have is off of a phone taking a picture of a camera, but this is the only photo I have of it because I don't want to look crazy when I tell the story. So I have the cemetery that we went to. It's a little hard because it's not on Google Maps. So So I've attached photos of the tombstone and the ghosty. So for the cemetery, there's not like a location, but the last name is Cottle, Cottle. So Emily Cottle, Mary Cottle.
Oh my gosh.
All right. And now.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. I have chills. I was not expecting it to be as clear as it is. Like I was first looking at maybe what another tombstone is in the back, thinking that's what it was, but no.
Oh my goodness. And even a photo of the camera, like, which almost to me makes it even more real because you know it's not doctored because it's a photo of a camera, of a digital camera.
Yeah. And also that it must be so defined on the camera too for us to be able to see it like through another lens.
It's also interesting because this is the second story where it was like the last photo taken. It's interesting, like why of all the photos, how come it's the last photo?
It always seems to be that way.
Right. So strange.
Are ghosts non-committal? Are they kind of like waffling whether they want to be seen or not? And then in the very last second, they're like, oh, my last chance.
Do they even have the ability to control it?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Because, I mean, listen, we can debate all day long. The truth is we don't have a definitive answer of what ghosts are. But I think we can safely hypothesize that it has something to do with energy, time, and physics.
The vaguest answer there ever was.
But it makes me think like, is it slipping through time and it just happens to be a glitch that we're seeing? Because there's also so many stories where ghosts happen to see us and they look confused.
This is reminding me of a TikTok I saw the other day where this guy is hearing someone like running up and down the stairs and it's a ghost and it is running down the stairs at him when he's right there with his camera and he boom punches the air and then you hear nothing after. And people in the comments were like, imagine that this is a time slip and someone is going up and down the stairs, like doing chores, like running up and down, and they just get freaking knocked out by a ghost. And that's their ghost story, that they were running down the stairs and something, boo, and energy just like blasted them back.
Right. I mean, there's one of the famous stories of doppelgangers, and I think we covered it on our doppelganger episode, probably early days of the podcast, where
was it the teacher?
The man was riding his horse.
Oh.
And he saw himself wearing like a specific outfit. And then like a couple years later, he was having that moment, but he saw himself on the other side.
I don't even remember this. I'm remembering the one where there's the teacher in front of the classroom and she looks outside of the window and she sees her doppelganger.
Yeah.
There's so many.
We don't understand.
The paranormal is so weird. We don't understand. And I also think that there's so many different layers to the paranormal in terms of what we're seeing because some of it might be some sort of weird wrinkle in time and time glitch where there's two people that are actually living and we're seeing each other through this like distorted lens. And that's why we feel like it's a ghost and we can't quite like reach out and touch the other person. But then I also think that there's the residual energy, the stains of just like a memory repeating itself. And we kind of get to see that.
Right. Which makes me think we spend so much time in these chairs. Like, are we going to create residual energy of ourselves here?
Oh, man. And
so when
in 100 years, someone's going to buy my house and be like,
there are always these two girls talking
about ghosts, talking about nothing.
Yeah, literally talking about nothing.
I have a room where these two girls just gab all day long.
Nonstop yapping.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to revisit one that is quite scary. This we originally read on Encounters 144, but now we're reading it again because it is terrifying. And the photo, it spooked us then, it's going to spook us now. It is called I Took a Picture of a Demon.
Oh my God, yeah. I remember this one.
Yeah.
This is also triggering so many others that I want to revisit too.
I know.
We could do this forever.
We'll have to do it again. My name is Serene, and I've been listening since 2019, since the first lockdown, and I've become obsessed ever since. Here is my story. So it happened in 2018 when I was a nanny for a family with 4 children, the oldest being 8 and the youngest being 2. They lived in this big, beautiful house out in the country, about 15 minutes away from town. Surrounding this house are a few neighbors, a canal, and lots of farming fields. The family I worked for was one of the prominent farming families in our town, and I loved them. They were really easy to work with, they were never once rude or mean to me, and they were super accommodating to my schedule at this local college. I was there for about 4 years before I quit due to the pandemic. All of the kids were in different sports, so a huge chunk of my day was driving them around, dropping them off, picking them up, and this specific evening was Friday. It was around 6 p.m. I had dropped the kids off and coordinated with another nanny from practice to bring them home when they were done. I picked up some groceries on the list and I took the baby home. We'll call the baby James. So after James had dinner and played a little while, I let him hang out in the dining room next to me while I cleaned the kitchen. It was now maybe 9 or 10 p.m. It was pitch black outside. The other kids went to get ice cream after practice, so it was still just James and I. Right next to the kitchen where we were, there was a long hallway that led to the garage and laundry room. And on the garage door, they had a doggy door that led to the garage. I was finishing up dinner when I heard the doggy door swing, and James ran down the hallway to greet what sounded like the family dog. James turned the corner down the hallway and immediately screamed and started crying. I couldn't see the door from the sink, so I assumed maybe the dog bit him or he fell. So I ran to see what happened. And as soon as I saw it, I stopped in my tracks. On the other side of the doggy door, I see a warped, evil-looking face smiling at me. I don't know how to describe the feeling, but the energy of the room immediately felt evil. And my gut told me that whatever this was wanted to scare or hurt us. Looks-wise, the closest thing I can equate it to is the face of the little girl in The Exorcist when she is possessed. It was just looking at me, making whispering gibberish noises.
Which is one of the more messed up parts, that it's like actively speaking. It's not just like, what am I seeing? There's a weird shadow.
No,
you can't explain it away.
I scream. I grab James and I run back towards the kitchen. I was so scared of turning around and seeing this thing come into the house. I start saying, "You aren't welcome here. God is with me and he's going to protect me," over and over again. I start singing and screaming worship songs and quoting any scripture that came to my mind. I saw it moving, but it still wasn't coming inside. So I decide I'm going to make a plan. I'm going to take a picture, run to the door, lock it, and then shut the doggy door. I count to 5. I put the baby down and I do it. I run to the door. I lock it. I shut the door and I blacked out. I don't remember much. I was so scared, but I swear the closer I got to the door, the worse it started to smell. I was crying and I'm 99% sure I peed myself a little, but I did it. I turned back and I grabbed the baby. I ran upstairs to his room. Maybe 10 minutes later, the rest of the kids got home. And an hour after that, the parents got home. I called my dad asking him to pick me up because I was terrified of driving alone in the dark country after that. So I ran to my dad's car, leaving mine there. And the next morning, I called the mom and she told me, "Please forget about it. Please don't tell the kids."
I forgot this part of the story. That's such a creepy response.
Which freaked me out even more because she did not sound surprised or scared, like she already knew.
Like, please don't tell the kids. The kids are already seeing it.
Right, poor baby James.
Right.
Anyway, I seriously contemplated quitting that weekend. My parents told me I should. My friends told me I should, but I didn't. I honestly don't know why. But I stayed for a little more than a year after that, and the energy never went back to normal. It felt wrong. I would hear running upstairs when I was alone. I would do laundry and come back to see the front door was wide open. The baby wouldn't go near the glass doors at night, and the mom never brought it up again. Anyway, thanks for reading. So I've attached the photo I took, and I hope it doesn't scare you guys as bad as it did me.
No, it
also,
is.
I've shown this photo to self-proclaimed skeptics of the supernatural, and it has made them believers.
It 100% looks like Reagan from The Exorcist.
It's horrifying. Or like Chucky.
Yeah.
The hair is unruly. The smile is so clear. It's so creepy.
It's very creepy. Ooh, and the fact that it's like whispering. Like,
yeah.
The doggy door.
It's also like the light in the garage is on, so it's illuminated even more.
Also, I never thought about this before because I was just picturing it as like a head just being there. But what if it was laying down?
It's crawling. You can see it. It's on its hands and knees.
Oh. Every time we revisit this, I'm just as equally horrified.
I know. Could you imagine seeing that? But also, it makes me want to know, well, now I want the family's information because I want to ask them what they've heard.
Yeah, what have
and
they
what
heard?
they've experienced. Because clearly.
Well, if she's in communication with the family, maybe we can ask. Like,
Serene.
Hey, direct them our way. Because we are so curious.
We won't tell them that you gave us their phone number. We'll say, this happened to come across our email from
someone random.
There was a girl who said she was a ghost haunting your house.
Yeah, that she was in your doggy door.
And she needs you to tell us more.
Wow. Oh my God.
And then we'll also put all these photos on our Instagram. We do have a highlight saved of ghost photos, and it has like the posts and stuff of ghost photos. So you don't have to scroll through our hundreds of photos that we've posted.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening to our call to action.
Yes.
Continue sending them.
Please.
We don't have any intention of not podcasting ever. So we're going to keep doing episodes like this.
Forever and ever.
Ghost photos.
Yeah.
Thank you to all of you for joining us every week. You can rate and review on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. You can email us to your ghost story, your ghost photos, anything paranormal related. Doesn't have to be ghosts.
Yeah.
At 2girls1ghostpodcast@gmail.com. And you can follow us on social media. We have Instagram, we have TikTok, we have Patreon.
Yeah. And if you want to share your ghost story with us live, we've even had listeners show ghost photos on Campfire Stories,
which is hosted on Patreon. You can join us every Tuesday on Patreon and share your ghost story with us live. And if you're like, what the heck? I'm listening in my car. Where are all the ghost photos? Like Sabrina said, you can look on Instagram, or we also have YouTube, so you can watch this episode. Yes. We love you all. Thank you to Jamie for editing this podcast. And we will see you on the other side.